One of the meanest men ever to step into a wrestling ring, it says here, was Walter Killer Kowalski. In the in the era of Gorgeous George, Nature Boy Buddy Rogers, and Yukon Eric, the Killer was the most feared and most loathed of all. He is now a professional photographer and runs the Killer Kowalski Institute for Professional Wrestlers. Right up there with Annapolis and the, welcome please, Killer Kowalski. Have a seat there if you will. Yes, sir. Let me ask you something here about this introduction. It says that you were the most feared and most loathed of all. How would we prove that if we wanted to?
Most loved.
Oh, is it supposed to be loved?
No. A typing error.
Oh, a typing error. Oh, so you were the most loved. Well, well, that's good. How many years have you been wrestling?
Years.
Quite a few.
Quite a few, yes.
How does a fellow, as a youngster, become a professional wrestler?
You know, to break into the sport is very, very difficult, because most wrestling promoters don't even want to talk to anybody who is aspiring to become a professional wrestler.
Why don't they want to talk to people?
Because they never prove themselves. They can't afford it. You know, with television, a lot of wrestling's on television, and you're drawing big houses. In fact, professional wrestling is the most watched sport, the most attended sport from any other professional sport there is. Mm-hmm. Because we have wrestled so often, so that's all that accumulated together produce a tremendous.
Well, what would be the next sport after professional?
Well, most of the sports are seasonal. I guess baseball probably has the longest season.
So how did you get started then? If nobody was talking to you, and then what happened?
I went to a professional wrestling school in Detroit, Michigan. I was a young kid working out at the YMCA, wrestling at the YMCA, and wrestling promoter in Detroit. Heard of this big slob. And he taught me to enter the profession. And I said, no, I want nothing to do with it. I like constantly hear bells. I still do hear bells, birds singing, things like that.
You do? Really?
You don't?
I hear sirens occasionally.
And sirens too.
Yeah.
So, you know.
How did you get the name Killer? I'm guessing your folks didn't give you that name.
When I started wrestling, his name was Killer Tarzan Kowalski.
Tarzan Kowalski.
A little incident happened in
You just changed it. A lot of people in show business do that. They'll change their name. Yeah.
Had a good ring, Killer Kowalski.
Killer Kowalski.
Happened a little incident in Montreal, actually, where it happened. I was climbing the top rope. I jumped off the top rope. I meant to jump on the guy's head, but he moved. And I grazed his cheekbone. I missed him. Mm-hmm. He had a very bad cauliflower ear. And cauliflower ear is very hard. Blood flows to the ear, congealed. But his cartilage had broken his ear. And when my shin bone touched his cheek, it knocked like you would knock a fly off the table. That's where his ear went, rolling across the ring. Really, the referee says, "You dirty slob." He says, "Yeah, boy, jump on him." I said, "Yeah, well, what the heck." He pushed me across the ring. He starts, this was Yukon Eric. He spent a lot of publicity on that. He starts screaming, hollering, my ear. I said, "What's he hollering about?" I lost something about an ear. Blood pouring out all over the place. And finally, he just stopped the match. He walked out of the ring, so he threw a towel in, which was in moments to soak the blood. He stepped out of the ring, and the referee says, "What am I going to do now?" He says, "He's gone. Give me the match." "Oh, yeah, okay." So he raised my arm. I was the winner for that. Yeah. And since then, people thought I was just a cruel monster. Mm-hmm. I sympathize with poor Yukon Eric after that, because
do you get points for something like that?
Yes. He gave me 63 points for knocking an ear off that time. But you know, Yukon Eric, he had a bit of a problem after that, because when he used to try to go walking downtown, down the street on a windy day, the wind would take his through the ear and spin him around. He's very different. Well, these are some of the hazards. Of different professions, even football, baseball, basketball, Things could happen. Imagine what happens, how it stopped that ball, the big basketball, he swallows it.
Probably happens more than you think, huh?
Yes, certainly does.
But now, in addition to your wrestling activities, you're a photographer.
Yes, that little incident happened one time in Dallas, Texas. I saw the pictures that they were using for publicity.
Oh, this is the gentleman you alluded to earlier. This is Tarzan Kowalski.
18 years old. Imagine that.
Good heavens. How big a fellow are you in this photo?
I'm right down about 245, 250. I was 18, 6'6". I gained about an inch. grew another inch or two, 6'7". I got to be 275 and much ruggeder, much meaner, more cruel than that.
Cool, yeah. Now, you didn't actually take that picture. Now, here's a fellow. Who is this?
That's Moose Monroe. He was running around this area here. He's a very sedate, easygoing fella. Yeah, he eats children or something like that, as well with his meals.
Yeah.
There's nothing much to him, though. Just a cruel, mean-looking guy.
The word nair comes to mind.
Maybe he eats that, too.
This is kind of a nice outfit.
Yeah, that's Larry Sharp. He was the great New York area.
Larry. This guy's name is Larry?
Yeah. That is Larry. Doesn't he look like a Larry? Oh,
now, you take these and then you sell them to the restaurants?
No, I use them for publicity. I've had my pictures on my page on covers of magazines. That is the Moondogs, Rex and Fido. Last deliverer.
Rex and who?
Fido, the last of the
Rex
Moondogs.
and Fido, the Moondogs. They're attorneys, I think, aren't they?
Yes, they are. That's right.
Okay, we're going to have to interrupt this. We'll continue. We're going to a commercial. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel, here on Chaos Corner with the legendary Killer Kowalski. It doesn't get much better than that.
There are people in this country who believe that wrestling ain't on the up and up, that it's fixed and that the matches are predetermined and that...
most of the fans who mention that are television wrestling. To sit home, watch wrestling on television, it is a commercial. For the guy my size wrestling somebody half your size, the outcome is obvious. I'm doing a job to promote Killer Kowalski, so I wouldn't look too good against another great wrestler. So I get in the ring with a guy who's just a small guy, a little wimp.
Yeah.
And I just beat him. Of course, I'm not going to hurt him.
No.
Otherwise, I would run out of wimps.
Yeah.
Beat up.
Not enough wins to go around.
That's right.
Okay, now, I don't know exactly how you answer that. Who is this guy?
That's Andre the Giant. He's a 7'4", 500 pounds, a real giant.
How do you do on his SATs? Do you have to...
Well, he's in a bit of a fraction there.
Big guy.
Yeah. A monster.
Is there a lot of money to be made for a wrestler these days?
Yes, if you're a main eventer, you can make a good living. But you're wrestling 4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah, it's tough, huh?
And you have to keep in condition, travel a lot. Sometimes you don't even get to bed 2 or 3 days at a time.
Would you travel all over the United States or just in a certain geographic region?
Sometimes wrestlers come in a geographical region, but like Andre the Giant, he travels all over the world.
Yeah.
He'd be in Tokyo, Japan one day, he'd be in Washington, D.C. next day, and then he'd fly to Africa or something like that.
What does a well-known wrestler make in a week? Say a top-known wrestler.
Well, it's not as great a salary as boxers or some of the other great players, but they make $3,000 a week.
Yeah. What's the low end of the scale? What's the least a guy would make in wrestling?
$300 a week.
Yeah, that would be a wimp, I guess, would make that. Okay, and finally we got another photograph that you've taken. He's the boys next door.
Superstar Billy Graham and his manager, the Wizard, Grand Wizard, and Stan Stasiak.
Looks a little like my manager, come to think of it. I want to thank you very much, Walter, for being here. Now, you have a television show. Where is that?
We're in Boston 25. We have a show every Sunday morning, 11 o'clock. It's a Christian broadcasting network. And Kenneth Copeland is on just before me. He lifts the people up and makes them ready to go into heaven. Boy, I come on 11 o'clock, I bring them right back down to earth and let them know what the real thing, that's the real thing right here.
Killer Kowalski, thank you very much.